message is made clear in the article. Says Marvel boss Kevin Feige was among the first to reach out to Batgirl directors Adil El Arbi and Balil Falah, who also worked on Miss Marvel, to express his support after the cancellation news. Likewise, the team behind She-Hulk shared their sympathy. Quote, "It is so hard to imagine the disappointment that those filmmakers must be feeling because these projects take years," says She-Hulk director and executive producer Kat Coiro. "I've been working on this for years, and the idea of it never seeing the light of day it must be crushing." She-Hulk has long been regarded as one of the most powerful feminist icons found in the pages of comic books, making the arrival of Attorney at Law all the more impactful at this particular moment in time. Coiro says, "It's exciting because just her very existence is a feminist. She's large, she's in charge, she controls her own narrative. The MCU has for a very long time been very male-heavy. There hasn't been a lot of female representation. So it's nice to finally start making some progress in that area." Now, him, say it louder for the people in the back. The clip shows She-Hulk lecturing regular Hulk about how difficult her life is. Because, of course, the whole reason audiences flock to superhero shows is to hear their favorite superheroes complain and feel sorry for themselves. Here's the clip.
Here's the thing, Chris. I'm great at controlling my anger. I do it all the time. When I'm catcalled in the street, when incompetent men explain my own area of expertise to me, I do it pretty much every day, because if I don't, I will get called emotional or difficult or might just literally get murdered. So I'm an expert at controlling my anger because I do it infinitely more than you.
Look how angry she is.
Her high-pitched whining is enough to make any supervillain flee out of just sheer annoyance. Of course, the experiences she describes in that monologue, which was apparently curated from a Twitter thread written by a Jezebel blogger, are all, at worst, mild annoyances. I mean, if those experiences are the worst hardships in your life, then you have led an exceedingly privileged existence. In trying to explain why her life is so much harder than Bruce's, She-Hulk can only mention the trauma of receiving unwanted compliments and of having her credentials questioned. And she then says that she can't complain about these experiences because if she does, she'll be insulted or murdered.
Just complain.
The interesting thing about this claim is that it's not only delusional and insane, but also self-negating. She clearly has no problem complaining and is quite eager to do so. And far from being killed for it, she's instead hailed as a hero. This is a common theme with the feminists. They claim that they're not able to talk about their troubles, when in fact, that's the only thing they ever talk about. And anytime one of them does talk about it, the others say, "Yeah, finally someone said it." What do you mean finally someone said it? This is all, we've heard this a billion times. But simply exaggerating your own sufferings is one thing. You know, we can all tend to fall into that trap sometimes. The real problem with She-Hulk's approach here, and with the approach of feminists in general, is the assumption that no man could ever suffer or does ever suffer like women suffer. She-Hulk declares her struggles to be infinitely more numerous and severe than Bruce's or any other man's. Now, we could maybe ignore the claim if it was just coming from a character called She-Hulk, but the problem is that this is the attitude that our society seeks to foster in girls. That's why they put it in the monologue to begin with. In truth, there is nothing to be gained by comparing two groups against each other and trying to determine who has a harder time of it. But if that is the game we're playing, most of the statistical evidence would seem to suggest that in modern America, women generally have the better deal. That's why girls are more likely to graduate high school, less likely to be suspended or expelled. Women are less likely to commit suicide, to become drug addicts, to become hopeless, to homeless, to less likely to suffer from workplace injuries. Women are less likely to be the victims of violent crime. They're less likely to be blown to pieces on the battlefield. But sure, I guess the homeless, drug-addicted, suicidal, war-injured veteran on the streets probably doesn't get catcalled very often, so he's got nothing on She-Hulk. Now, nobody is suggesting that women have no challenges or obstacles to overcome, but the idea that they have more obstacles than men, or more serious ones, is just not borne out by the facts. I'm sorry. And besides, as already noted, the comparisons are absurd and pointless. The only thing worse than being self-pitying is to be competitive in your self-pity. It's bad enough to walk around dwelling on your misfortunes. It's even worse to insist that you win the prize for the most misfortunate person in the world. And it's especially ridiculous to make this claim when you are a young, attractive woman in the modern Western world. Because our modern society is essentially tailor-made to facilitate the happiness and success of that category of people.